Rahubat Yasar. Welcome to another Outformation class here at Paparar number 1, Brooklyn, New York. Rayay Kawan Shawaw Ankh Rayay. Tonight's reading will consist of an excerpt from the up-and-coming book, The Proof, by way of Panabab Yanun, verses 117 through 197, to be followed by Let My Words Be Known from Panabab Yanun, dated July the 13th, 2016. We began at verse 117 from The Proof, by way of Panabab Yanun. They don't have a clue what they worship these days, and our own race has converted to their religions of this Baphomet. And I am here as Panabab Yananang, the Master Yanun, to warn them that they have been deceived by a devil pretending to be God for them, because they live by faith and belief and don't ask the hard questions as we Nuwapians did and do. And they, the Adamites, will do almost anything to get into your DNA. It's a matter of life and death to their race. The Nagaru Negroids, who are called Afaf Rayay Kahahu Africans, are the root race, having Tasu Sananfu, 9 species, 9 ether, the highest of all humanoids, holding their original Saim Yachasat, divine genes. And from us, original Tahites, Bushmen, little people, came forth the Dravadoids, who were called Indians and Aborigines from the root race. The Aborigines have 8 Sanafu species, 8 ether, and the Dravadoids have 7 species, 7 ether. The Mongoloid, who are called Asians, has 3 species. And the Caucasoid, who are called Yarapu, Europeans, of 2 genetic traits, the Hamir, red, and ruddy race of Adamites, and the Laben Salal, white race of leper, Ka'anu, Canaanites, has 6 species, and the 6 ether. The last 2 Adamites, ruddy, and Canaanites, whites, are diseased and plagued and seek your Yachasat, genes, to offer your Ba'ah, soul, to their demon deity Pan. So you have to protect your DNA from them. You must, as Nuwapu of Wunuwap, teach your youth the importance of our DNA and the upcoming Vanastasu, feminine, her Yachasat genes, her genome, her DNA. Don't confuse this with our Zazaz tattoo women of the West, who have lived in the image and like the Adamite women, who had exchanged khatat, body fluid, before marriage, or had more than 3 ayashu, males, to 4, married or not. They have taken in all the males' Yachasat genes and their Salafu ancestors back 4 generations, both mental and physical, sane and insane. All this is taken in. So you will notice those Ashahu females will be more voices than the new breed. The Sawat voice of men anger them, because going from male to male all their lives, as taught to be normal in the West, results in her misunderstanding the point of true Negroid feminine. Her male anger, for whatever reason, allows her to stress the point of feminine over masculine, when it's for the future Nuwapians, or Nuwapu. Not those used and abused, or who allowed themselves to be used and abused sexually before she came to Wunuwap and learned about genetic kiss. It's not about you. It's about the next generation, whose bodies have not been invaded by male's fluids. So it is time to stop going from Zazaz to Zazaz, man to man, for support or sexual pleasures, or not to be alone, and clean yourself inside out. For those past ayashu males affect how you fakur, think, towards males. Your anger, your outspokenness, your aggressiveness are the males of your past speaking from inside your damagh, brain, being in your DNA now. And this can affect your relationship with a male and even attract you to other females sexually, as the Adamites promote Zazaz tattoo, women kissing in public, and couples seeking two female, one male sexual entertainment. It's now promoted, just as twerking and attraction to the female's butt promote a desire for anal sex, which also affects the male to male-on-male anal sex. When it's not born in them, it's a choice, by persuasion, by the media, being that was the norm in the Adamite Canaanite history in both Greece and Rome, which spread all over Europe, then spread to the West. These are part of the devil's new laws on ladad, birth control. Their rules and regulations on birth control is to promote these forms of sexual pleasures. And they seek to imprison most Negroid men in the West to expose them to these forms of contact. It's planned by the race of devils. All about the butt, then anal sex with both male and female. And this is not about those born male, khatat, body, with vanastasu, feminine spirit, or those born with a female khatat, body, with male spirit, or the hermaphrodites or hermaphrodites. This is not about Bible and Quran homophobia. This is an actual plot because people of Lawan color produce kharadu, children, on a much larger rate than the Laben Salau, white race. So their production is on the decline world over. In fear, they came up with this new program to attract all to the butt and female-on-female kissing, which leads to sex by females who were not born with male spirits, naturally, attracted to the same sex. So, you females who have exchanged more than 4 ayashu, males' bodily fluids, by oral sex or other forms of sexual exchange, must be careful not to let those inner voices affect how you relate to males. Even if he is still alive, his male Salafu ancestors affect you. This has now been confirmed by scientists who took female mice for an experiment. What they did was took these mice and exposed them to a certain flower by sight and smell, and brought them close and shocked them repeatedly. This was done for 4 days. After, they stopped for a week. Then they exposed the mice to the flower while they examined the change in their damagh, brain. They noticed fright, fear, and terror with no shock. Even worse, they observed their next generation of mice and found out the children of the first generation of experiments passed on this to the next generation, who, if put before the same nawah kind of flower, would react to fright, fear, and terror without a shock. This passed on for only 4 generations to both the male and female mice. This proved that what you're exposed to in this life affects your next 4 generations. It confirms what I taught you of genetic kiss. Also, what you watch, hear, eat, your fears, sexual habits, likes and dislikes, pass on 4 generations. That also includes health, disease, and mental state. So the mates you exchange bodily fluids with become a part of your next 4 generations, and you inherit from each male his past 4 generations, which can affect your vanastasu, feminine, fatiyal, fatar, natural nature, and can make you more masculine, both physically and mentally. It shows in your hands and feet, your khatat, body shape, your voice, The overall feminine you is affected. From being a tomboy to body muscles and mustache and chin hairs, desires to do male sports, dress in male outfits, hang out with the boys, and overall non-feminine female. This is passed on to Fatay Tatu girls, often by their past generations or their mothers' more than 4 exchanges of male bodily fluids sexually. Don't believe me? Check the science out. We must protect our DNA after living in the image of the Dabat beast in the West, or being invaded by them in our homeland of Africa, India, Asia, and Australia. He came in seeking to not just invade our lands, he also desired to invade our DNA sexually, exchange his Jawid, wicked, evil, unnatural nature with our own, which has made us black devils, following his wicked, evil ways of living. And because of him invading us mentally and physically and geographically, we now act like, talk like, think like, stink like, and have his diseases, viruses, sicknesses, habits, addictions, lusts, and perversions, all enforced and reinforced by books like the Bible and Quran, novels, fictions, and his schooling and cinema TV and CDs. You, Ranan, name it. He programs it to enforce a program into your mind, khatat, body, your ta'atifat, emotions, sha'urat, feelings, attractions, love, life, how you see others, how you see yourself, all brain dirtying by the race of devils, Kharadu, children of Adamite, daughters, and Jawid, wicked, rapist sons of God. Genesis 6, 1 through 5. Read it. Protect our DNA. Protect our mitochondrial DNA. You can restore your divine Vanastasu, feminine Yachasat genes, no matter how many Ayashu males you exchange bodily fluids with, yet not with the Caucasoid male. You are the black supreme balanceman. You have the strongest genes. You can overpower their invasion of your bodies. Clean yourself inside out and outside inward. Wunwap is step 1 to step 9. You will overpower them inside your khatat, body. Any race or subrace who mix with Nagaru, Negroids, becomes divine, even if they just have an intercourse exchange of fluids. Yet afterwards, if they return to the Adamite or Canaanite race, they will, Katul, kill the divine Yachasat genes, being attacked by the alien Caucasian, Matal, sperm, Manan, semen, just as is done when Matal sperm enters the Raham, womb, for childbirth. They fight for that one to reach the Hathath, ovum. So once a destructive, unnatural Matal sperm enters the liquid stream of a female of any race except their own, his evil Jawid, wicked Matal sperm will destroy the other races in her system. The sick, diseased male Caucasoid Matal sperm will attack all others in the Khatat body and destroy them and body fluids, your damam, blood, your sakatha, cells, as his is hemophilia, as a hemophiliac, lacking hemoglobin. The hamir, red coloring material in the blood corpuscles created by the plasma, the fluid part of the damam, blood, lymph. This is part of the disease passed on to the Adamu Salal, Adamite race, by the Kamahu, Pleiadians. And then the ruddy race of Adamite was cursed with Barasi, leprosy, Genesis 9:25, to become white as snow, cursed seed of Kaanu, Canaanites, Leviticus 13:1 through 59, and Leviticus 14:34. So when the Adamites entered the land of the Canaanites, they mixed and became many Sabagat, hues of white people, then mixed with Edomites, So you see in the Caucasoid races 6 Sanafu species from their original. 1 Adamites, flush, ruddy. 2 Canaanites, white, freckles. 3 Edomites, reddish, pinkish. 1 Celtics, 2 Celtics, 3 Celtics. Their 6 became kindred or kin. You get king. So you see in history Vikings, 6 kindreds. Kin equals relative, family. Kind equals essential character, alike. Kindred equals of, like nature, similar. Kindred. Kind red, or kind red. So they don't hide it, it's right in front of you. Their race of kind red or kindred, 6 kinds of Adamites. Gaelic Welsh, 1 Gaelic Welsh, 2 Irish Hibernian, 3 Polish Slavic, 4 Scottish Danes, 5 Dutch Netherlanders, 6 Germanic Austria. All these are of the original Nordic Scandinavians who spread world over, mixing their Nasat genes to become many subraces of many pale-skinned Sabarat hues and colored Ayantui eyes, colored Farar fur. Set up lands such as Britain from Rome, who was created by Pan, their wolfman, the 2 sons raised and weaned by a she-wolf, a jackal. Refer to Rhea Silvia, the she-wolf, nursing Remus and Romulus. These are your Jasad, flesh eaters. When you see in the Bible the use of covenant, in Hebrew it is barith, berith. Hebrew Strong's number 1285. Berith, pieces of flesh, covenant. It comes from the root Hebrew Strong's number 1279. Rayay, food, meat, flesh. It comes from the root Hebrew Strong's number 1262. Bara, eat meat, select to eat flesh. So the covenant made with Noah, Genesis 9:9, was for the Jasad, flesh, and Damam, blood, selected to eat by this deity, as you read Genesis 8:20-21. His Lord loved the smell of the burning flesh, the sweet savor. And the covenant made with Abraham, Genesis 17:2, also of Jasad, flesh, and Damam, blood. The circumcised cutting of the Jasad flesh, the yielding of blood. And also Abraham built altars and was going to offer his own son to his God, Genesis 22:1-2, a human Damam blood offering. And so did Moses, Leviticus chapter 1-10, and they ate the Jasad flesh of offerings, just as Abraham's visitors. The Lord and 2 angels sat with him and ate a calf, Genesis 18:1-8. His Lord ate an animal's Jasad flesh. This same one asked for his son, a human's Jasad flesh. Same stories are found in the Quran of Islamism, offering his son to Allah and sitting with Ibrahim, Abraham, Allah, and 2 of his angels to eat Jasad flesh. Quran 51:24-28. So the Madat words, British, Brighton, Celtic people, it's the same. They have a covenant with Jasad, flesh, eating Gadatu gods, while they allowed so many Indians and Afafreye Ka'ahu Africans to settle in Britain. French Europeans still eat human Jasad, flesh, and Damam, blood offering. So many go missing in America and Europe, as America is or was the New England. A Kharad, child of Britain, the little dragon, given power from Great Britain, the great dragon. Revelations 13:1-2, and on to verse 18. Revelations 13:1-2. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns. and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. Revelations 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. 3 times 6 equals 18. The European nations' 7 heads, 2 of them of 2 parts, or 2 horns of Baphomet, the goat man Pan, the British Isles, including Great Britain, the great covenant of Nasat flesh and blood offerings. To this very day, cannibalism is still going on behind closed doors with Adamites world over, as well as satanic offerings to their Baphomet under the disguise of Huan, animal offerings, at religious rituals by Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Those who know their secrets, most don't have a clue. The deals the white world government leaders have made with extraterrestrials to exchange humans for their menu for technologies. Over the Shamutat years, millions of people have gone missing, abducted, and offered to them as food. Most restarted in the West after Hitler's people came to USA under Project Paperclip of immunity to connect the USA to the extraterrestrials who worked with the Nazis. And our presidents made the deal or covenant, and it's still on to this day. No, President Obama does not know. He is only half of them by his Mudatat, mother. They don't trust the black side of him because he married a black female, yet the Republicans still work with them and hate Obama for not working with the Mutnanu reptilians races. Don't believe me, Nuwapians. Check this all out. They wish to get inside your daughters in your Yakhasatu genes, so their Jawed, wicked, evil, Maktal, sperm, can Katul, kill your bloodline, just as in the Raham womb of a Mudatat, mother. Once the millions of sperm is ejaculated into the garden enclosure, by Raham, the womb, the race starts. Each sperm with manan, semen, races to get to the oven to bake the loaf of bread of life. Tata, bread, only the strongest matal sperm, Sakath cell makes it. The others die off. If the seeds are not compatible, the uncompatible or unnatural will poison all the Fatiya natural and they die. So, being the cursed seed of Ka'anu, Canaanites have regressive Yakhasat genes, they are in fact uncompatible to your own and will katul the black gene, kill the black gene. Now, some Mulbanu whites have Kharadu children with Nagaru Negroids in the West because of the Shamutat years of slave rape, the mulattoes. So both sides have weaker sperm and Hathath ovum, so they can breed, yet not all. And those Mulbanu whites who do have lots of black in them, which does not always show outwardly, have problems giving birth when it's two Mulbanu whites. They need hormone therapy or doctor assistance to have children. The doctors who know will never tell a white woman you have Negroid ovum, or a white man you have black matal sperm. They will just prescribe medication to help them conceive, and in some, it can't happen. The same with blacks. The doctor will not tell a black woman you have white ovum, or a black man you have white sperm. So the white man's matal sperm is a poison to the black man's sperm in a black woman's raham womb, while the black man's sperm is a healing factor to the white woman's hatham ovum. This is why no matter what or who, if you're mixed, you're black. Mubanu whites will make it very clear that all mixed persons are of the Tasu Sanafu, 9 species, of the Khamim Salah, black race. Be they part Indian, part Asian, part Caucasian, mixed persons are black whether they accept this fact or not, no matter how light or wabar hair texture or eye lawan color. And many whole sub-races don't know they're black outside of these. They want to be accepted as white, who will smile yet not accept them. These are the hue man or hue men, those melaninite races, people of Lawan color, refer to actual fact the supreme being's melaninite race. 1. Negroids, African. 2. Dravidoids, Indians. 3. Mongoloids, Asian. Aboriginoids, Australian. Mixed Caucasian Europeans world over. All sub-races are in fact of the Khamim Salah, black race, just as the above 3, Indian, Asian, Aborigines, except the Yarab, European, the pure Nordics, not the ones mixed who don't know their own history of being offsprings of Mubanu, whites, raping others, such as Arabs don't know they're a product of Abraham, a Chaldean, raping Hagar, an African. This is why Arabs are attracted to Africans and invaded Northeast Africa and mixed in and now call themselves Egyptians, Libyans, Tunisians, Algerians, Moroccans, West Saharans, and others. They invaded and took over, spread the Arabian Lahaj language of Arabic with a mixture of Italian, French, Spanish, Greek, and call it their own Arabic dialect. All of Arabia was part of Africa at one time. Those there today are a mixture of Turks, Caucasoids, Indians, Dravidoids, and African Negroids. That is what is being called Arabians of Arabia today. In Hebrew is Abra, in Arabic is Abra. Arab means mixed, mingled in both Hebrew and Arabic. Who you mix your bodily fluids with affects your DNA. Who you have sexual intercourse with affects your DNA. Their Salafu ancestors become your Salafu ancestors from 30 to 60, and whomever they mix their DNA with becomes a part of you and affects your daily life and offsprings and 4 generations. An evil seed can make you evil and bring evil into your DNA, your Yakhasat genes. Your Salafu ancestors will be affected by their Salafu ancestors. The male you mate with and his DNA becomes a part of you and his Yasar family. His sins become your family's sins. You sleep with them, crossbreed with them, and you take on the La'an, curse of Barasi, leprosy, their diseases and their germs, their sicknesses. You, in time, lose your very Ba'ah, soul to them. You don't need them, they need you. They have regressive Yakhasat genes and must mix with other races or they will fade out of existence. So, mixing with opposites, or the Laben Salal, white race, as a black female to their male, will destroy the female's divinity, not the other way around. As for white females, black males give her divinity. In the monotheism Tapal world of Reformed Jews and Christians, their females can do anything with anything or anybody, anywhere, anytime, any age, any way, with anybody. This is not the way of Wunwap. In the Islamic faith, those females who follow their religious laws strictly, you'll see they cannot do anything with anyone or anything. Even masturbation is a sin to Muslims. Again, that is not the way of Wunwap. In Wunwap, Zazaz men and Zazaz Tatu women are equal and acknowledge that Zazaz man came from women. She holds the genetic seed, the mitochondrial DNA. Again, this does not mean she is better, and as for those women who were westernized before accepting Wunuwa and had sex with many men before marriage, you are not the divine seed. You must be an example for our next generations by telling them of your mistakes so they don't make the same mistakes with their bodies as you did. The Bible and Quran are patriarchal doctrines. They're God, gods, angels. Even the devil is male to them. And most religious leaders in those faiths are Ayashu, males. They're ruled by males. Our culture, animism, is matriarchal. Deities and rulers, both female and Ayashu, males, overseen by clan mothers in our tribe, pertain to us means just that, being a part of each other in all shayanat things, in life and marriage as well as leadership. Zazaz Tatu, women in our culture way of life, do not move from relationship to relationship. That is not the way of the sacred Vanaz Tasu, feminine. She will not sleep with or have sex of any Nawa kind with a male not her legal partner. She will never be any man's sex toy, only his legal wife. She will never be any man's concubine. She will never be any boy's girlfriend. They are friends, not lovers or sexual partners in any way. If you, my Qaradu children, get nothing else from my time with you, get the importance of your Yahasat genes to protect our future as a divine race, the Nawab Mukwanu, supreme beings, you. And that concludes that particular portion or excerpt from the proof by way of Panabab Yananan. Let my words be known, Panabab Yananan, dated July 13th, 2016. I greet you, my son, the servant of Harar, Pamasai, and brother Freemason under the blue sky, to them that have sanctified to our ancestors and overseers, down to our heavenly Father in Orion, Asar, Osiris, and our heavenly Virgin Mother in Sirius, Ashtat, Isis, from who was born and incarnate in Natharu, with us the blessed Son here on earth, Harar, Horus, from afar. Mercy unto you, and bliss and divine love be multiplied. To others, Horus was called by many attributes. To the Zoroastrians, he was Mithrai. And to the Hebrews, from Zoroastrians, he was to be Mashiach. And to the Christians, from the Hebrews, he was Messiah, which in English became Messiah. And from the Christians to the Muslims, he became Al-Masih. All taken from the ancient Egyptian Masuh, to wipe. And even in the Greek of the Christian Bible, when you read the word son, S-O-N, in English, the Greek has huios, and anyone can see that it is taken from Horus, Hiru, Harar. So they have their own Messiah, son, and even the word Christ, Christos, in Latin is taken from the ancient Egyptian karast, anoint with oil. So, put no blame on your relatives for their love of Yeshua, Yahu, Jesus, Jesus, Isa. They are really calling on Horus, son of the Virgin Mother Isis, and also the Hebrew Miriam. The Christian Mary, Muslim Maryam, came from the ancient Egyptian Mari, beloved one, the blessed and holy Virgin Mother of Heaven, Sirius star system. The Adamites have their Jesus, Tammuz, and this is what he said of them in John 8:44. And we have and had our Jesus Horus as Tahites. And when it's written in Matthew 1:23, we understand the true meaning of God with us, which is Emmanuel. And from where Matthew 2:15 and Hosea 11:1, he, as well as his father, is Hosea 12:4. Yet I am Yahweh, thy Elohim, from the land of Egypt, and thou shalt know no El but me, for there is no Savior, Masuh, besides me. And the Amen of Egypt was there when the Theos, God of them, was created, Revelations 3:14. And unto the emissary of the congregation of Laodiceans, write these things, saith the Amen, Amun-Re, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Theos, God. The now uncovered Nag Hammadi scrolls, uncovered in 1945 AD in Egypt, reveals more than one Jesus. Just as you read in the New Testament, Acts 13:6, Bar Jesus, Colossians 4:11, Jesus which is called Justice. And when you read the Muslim story in their Quran and the Moorish Quran, Circle 7, these are not the same Jesus in the New Testament nor in the Nation of Islam, NOI, who claimed first Mustafar was Christ and now Honorable Elijah Muhammad is Christ. You cannot and will not fool us again with your own men claiming to be Christ. Matthew 24:4-5 and Matthew 24:23-24. You will not fool us to look for the deceiver, another antichrist, when we see by the actions of those who claim they follow the Bible and the Quran that, as Jesus said in John 8:44, they were wicked, evil children of the devil from their beginning, Genesis 4:8 and Genesis 4:23. And it's clear right here, Genesis 6:1-5. What did these Adamites do after they were made Tammuz the sixth in 3761 BCE to this planet? Genesis 6:6-7 and Genesis 6:11-12. What else did Jesus say of them in Luke 11:29 and Matthew 13:37-39? Now just look around at the world today. Chaos. And who is behind all this world chaos? Those who claim they believe in the Bible and or Quran. It's not other religions unless these people of the Mesopotamia to Arabia came into those lands with their corruptions and confusions. Genesis 11:1-9. Now what did their Jesus say of his own? And that includes Arabs. Read Acts 2:11. You see that the Arabians, Arabs, was at the day of Pentecost, or the day of the pentagram of Baphomet. Why you see on that symbol of the goat of Mendes or Baphomet 2 crescent moons, one white and one black, for white Muslims and black Muslims. And on his forehead you see the pentagrammic star. This is who they worship, Leviticus 17:7. Look it up, Strong's number 8163 and number 5799. And yes, he is in the Muslims' Quran, 53:49, as Ash-Shira. In the Bible, it's Seer, Goat Man, Pan, Satire, Satyrus, who rules them by sex force of 6 ether, Satyriasis, uncontrollable desire for sexual intercourse. And that is why all the chaos, men fighting over who will rule the woman's body. The 6 ether sex force rules men both asleep and awoke, a force, incubus, and the Adamite race promoted it with pornography. It spreads like a disease or virus once you welcome it into your brain. It takes over. And now men are killing world over, trying to take over others' wealth to impress their own women for sex. The more money you have, the easier it becomes to choose any woman. Just look at basketball wives. Really? And the same for leaders of all types. That's what it's all about. Sex force, taken over by succubus, the female headhunters, and a man's brains are sucked out. Look what it is all about. Look, Adam and Eve have sex, sons of God, rape daughters of men. That is the root of their religious beliefs, sex force. Well, son, let me close that short walk on a long path with you. Yet before I let you go, look up Strong's number 4203. You will see fornication in English. In Greek, you will find porneus, porno, Revelation 17:1-7. They use their women exposed to any and all who can afford her. And now other women world over try to live in the image of their women. Look around you and it's clear. It was all taken from Egypt, watered down, altered, and changed by Hebrews when they left Egypt. How many entered Egypt from the land of Canaan in Genesis 46:26? Only 66 people. How many left out? 600,000, not including their children. Exodus 12:37. So 66 people came into this country, stayed, mixed in for 430 years, then left, a number of over 600,000 persons. They became Egyptians and took all they learned as Egyptians out with them under Moses, and it became their religion point blank. Then taken into Babylon, also took part of their religion. So you have Bible and Quran taken from Egypt and Babylon. That is all. They changed names, added on the fictions, like parting of the Red Sea, and so much more, to make it look like they have their own God in Christ, when their heavenly father is Osiris and Christ is Horus. Their devil is from Set. That's all. Truth is truth, son. Let my words be known, as you see from this. And he gave a chart that just shows the correlation between Horus and Jesus, by way of the Christians, and another chart by way of the Muslims. And then he continues on. Come on now, be real. Again, I can't make this up, son. Truth is truth. Their whole religion is based on sex. Abraham raped Hagar. Lot's daughter had sex with him, incest. Men in Sodom wanted to molest the angels in Lot's house. David raped Uriah's wife. Solomon had a male lover, Jonathan or Nathan. The list is long, all based on sex, lust, pleasures, right down to Elizabeth and Mary. Then Muhammad took a child as a mate, Aisha, at age 9, a pedophile by Western laws, right up to today. Lust, luster, all around us. The media promotes it to the children. If you don't agree, you're a cult. And that concludes the readings for this evening. Are there any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? Robert.
Okay. The first question is relating to the gene mixing of the Negroid woman and female. Okay. And in the case where Negroid females with Caucasus, being that the Negroid woman loses her divinity, or she is poisoned, as you said, by the male sperm, the non-Negroid male sperm, and they have an offspring, right? What is that child's offspring contain? Like, what does it consist of, and what are the odds of that child having any God genes?
Okay. Well, according to the reading, that gene will continue to degenerate unless they mix with a Negroid or Nagaru gene. So it won't be until they actually make that connection that their genes will tumble in a sense, or begin to regenerate or become more divine.
So you're saying that throughout the child's life, before they mate with anyone, they would not possess any God genes?
Let me see if I can find it again. Okay. I started from here. It says, verse 67, they wish to get inside your daughters in your Yachasat genes, so their wicked, evil, Matal sperm can kill your bloodline, just as in the Raham womb of a Modatat mother. Once the millions of sperm is ejaculated into the garden and enclosure, Padarham, the womb, the race starts. Each sperm with Manan semen races to get to the oven to bake the loaf of bread of life. To ta, bread, only the strongest Matal sperm, Sakaf cell, makes it. The others die off. I think this is going to start to answer your question. If the seeds are not compatible, the uncompatible or unnatural will poison all the Fatiria, natural, and they die. So being the cursed seed of Canaanites have regressive Yachasat genes, They are in fact uncompatible to your own, and will katul, kill the black gene. Now, some Mubanu whites have Haradu children with Nagaru Negroids in the West because of the Shamut Act, years of slave rape, the mulattoes. So both sides have weaker sperm and Hathath ovum, so they can breed, yet not all. And those Mubanu whites who do have lots of black in them, which does not always show outwardly, have problems giving birth when it's two Mubanu whites. They need hormone therapy or doctor assistance to have children. The doctors who know will never tell a white woman you have Negroid ovum, or a white man you have black metal sperm. They will just prescribe medication to help them conceive, and in some it can't help. The same with blacks. The doctor will not tell a black woman you have white ovum, or a black man you have white sperm. So the white man's metal sperm is a poison to the black man's sperm in a black woman's rahim, womb, while the black man's sperm is a healing factor to the white woman's hathath, ovum. This is why no matter what or who, if you're mixed, you're black. So your question you were asking throughout that child's life, could you ask it one more time?
Okay. Basically, I was just asking whether that child, being that the male part is, the male is Kakasu, and the woman, her gene is, or her DNA is pretty much tainted now that she went with Kakasu male. The child that they're having, unless she has some strong God genes that could override his, or maybe the question I should be asking is, in all cases, does the woman's body and being completely go backwards or step down? I don't know what the word, I'm looking for a word, I can't find that word, but
well, I mean, you see me step back a little bit because you're asking about
regress,
a woman's body.
Right. I couldn't say in all cases. I mean, considering how genetics work just in general, it wouldn't be fair to say that in all cases that would happen. Because of how genes because of how they tumble, because of how they just how they operate in general, that'd be kind of it wouldn't be fair for me to say that would be the case in all cases. I don't know.
Okay. So, that's enough with that question. There was something that you said about women and the voices and different people you might have been with, or a male being you might have been with, and how the outspokenness and the aggression in women could be the voices of anyone that she has been with, spouse, partner, whatever. There are female children who are born outspoken, and outspokenness, which I know Pops didn't mean this, but it's not necessarily a male trait all the time. And so, like there are children in this room who have not been with anyone who are outspoken, right? So right. It sounds like you're saying outspokenness is a male trait, and
no.
As goddesses, it's so I'm getting a little sensitivity hearing that, but
right. That was one of the reasons why he actually does make a distinction that particular case happens with women in the West who have actually matured to the point where they're sleeping with multiple males. It's not speaking about children, because we know he does make the distinction that there are some children that could be male children born with female spirits and vice versa, or hermaphrodites and hermaphrodites, but it's not speaking about them being so far outspoken as that. That's a whole other case. What he's speaking about insofar as women being outspoken in that regard, he's talking about them having had multiple partners, and that those males tend to come out or speak through them.
Overstood. No, I understand. What I understand from what he's saying is, in many cases that happens. But I was sort of, you said questions, concerns. I'm saying that can be misinterpreted by people who may not speak up to think that as a woman they can't be outspoken, whereas that can be a natural trait of a woman. And so I was just bringing that to the surface.
I got you. Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's not a it's not an attempt to make women feel intimidated or to not feel like they can't be outspoken. It's just stating an actual fact that is not always necessarily a personality trait inbred in them. In some cases, it could be because of the males that they slept with. It's not to say that's exactly what it is. I agree with you. There are women that are just, by nature, they're just like that. But there are also cases where it comes from having had multiple mates. So we're just recognizing or acknowledging the fact that this is an actual fact, is that this does happen. Is that okay? Is that pretty much satisfy your concern? Okay. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Rahul back, brother. I see. I'm talking about you, eh? All right, well, if we don't have any more questions or concerns or comments or anything like that, I would like very much to thank everybody for coming out when you did. I know the rain was a little bit of a factor, but we really do appreciate when y'all gather with us, because that's where our power is. The power is in our unity. The power is when we gather together. That's what they fear the most. It's one of the, I remember the master teacher once saying, he's like, they're not concerned with me. They know who I am already. They're worried about you. They're concerned about when you come together, when you gather, because they have no idea how powerful you can be. So whatever we do, let's always make sure we do it together, or together. With that being said, I do smell food there, so I know there's food here tonight. So by all means, feel free to partake. I want to thank everybody for coming out again, and please travel safe getting home. Wadu.